She didn't expect you to disappear. She thought you'd always be there, checking in, showing up, chasing. She got used to your presence and maybe even took it for granted. But then you stopped. Not to play games, not to make her jealous, but because you finally reached that point where you were done handing out energy to someone who couldn't meet you halfway. And now, that silence, it's loud. The very moment she realizes you're not orbiting her anymore, that you've emotionally checked out, that's when her mind starts spiraling, because for the first time, she's not the one choosing. She's the one being left behind. Let's talk about what really happens inside her when she feels your absence and why your silence might just be louder than anything you ever said. Point 1. She thought you'd wait longer. At first, she brushes it off. She assumes you're just going quiet for a bit. Maybe she thinks you're trying to make a point, and eventually you'll come running back like before. But days turn into weeks into silence. And that's when it hits her. You're not playing hard to get. You've emotionally exited the building, and suddenly her confidence isn't so solid anymore. That silent treatment she once used on you, it's now echoing back, but this time she's on the receiving end. And that shift in power, it cracks the image she had of you, the one where you always came back. She realizes maybe she misjudged your strength. Point 2, your silence feels like a statement. Now, see, there's silence that's passive, and then there's silence that's powerful. Yours isn't empty when most down. It's loud. It speaks volumes. It says, I'm not begging. It says, you don't get access just because you want it, and that scares her. Because for the first time, she's seeing you as someone with boundaries, with self-respect. Your silence now feels like a door she didn't even realize could close. And when a woman feels a man emotionally detaching with calm, quiet certainty, it shakes her. Not because you're trying to punish her, but because you're finally protecting yourself. Point 3. She starts remembering the little things. You know the part that haunts her? It's not the big fights. It's not even the last conversation. It's the little things. The way you used to say her name. The way you'd show up for her without her asking. The messages you used to send at random times just to let her know you were thinking about her. Now, it's silence. And her mind starts replaying all of that, not because she's nostalgic, but because she didn't expect to miss it. She thought she'd be fine. But when the little things stop, that's when the emptiness feels real. Point 4. Her ego starts fighting her heart. This is where it gets messy for her. Her heart feels the absence, but her ego, it still wants control. She might post more, try to look unbothered, try to act like she doesn't notice. But deep down, that internal conflict is raging. She's asking herself, why hasn't he reached out? Has he really moved on? And the part of her that wants to stay in power can't admit that she's starting to miss you. So instead of saying it, she watches, stays quiet, tries to appear strong, while slowly breaking behind the screen. Point 5, she tries to trigger a reaction. She won't always come out and say, I miss you. Nah, she'll throw out bait instead. She might post something that feels aimed at you, or suddenly talk to a guy she knows you'd notice. She's trying to shake your stillness, to see if you still care. Because if she can get a reaction, even a small one, it means she still has influence. But here's where your power lies. You don't take the bait. You remain grounded, detached. Because the man who truly moved on doesn't react. He observes. Point 6. Her fantasy starts cracking. Women often build a fantasy version of the man they left. They imagine you stuck, waiting, longing. But when that fantasy breaks, when she realizes you're leveling up, glowing differently, living fully, it stings. Because now you're not the man she left. You're the man she can't reach. She starts to see how wrong she was, not just for leaving, but for assuming you needed her to thrive. And when she sees that you've become even better in her absence, that fantasy turns into regret. Point 7. She starts thinking about coming back. Quietly. She won't admit it out loud. Not yet. But she starts thinking, should I say something? Should I check in? She retypes messages, then deletes them. She stalks your page but doesn't follow. She wants to return, not because she's sure she wants you, but because she's unsure how to live without the version of you she once had access to. But here's the key. You don't wait for that. You don't entertain half-hearted returns. If she wants back in, it has to be with clarity, because you're not the man she left. You're not even standing in the same place anymore. Point 8. She knows she lost access to a different version of you. This one cuts deep, because by the time she realizes what she had, you're no longer offering it. The version of you that once prioritized her, once poured into her without boundaries, he's gone. And the new version, he's whole, focused, not bitter, just better. She realizes she didn't just lose your attention, she lost the only version of you that would have given her everything. Now, if she wants to reconnect, she has to come correct, because what used to be free now comes at a cost. And lastly, she thought you'd always be there, but when you stopped showing up, when you chose your peace over her confusion, everything shifted, and now she feels it. Not just the loss, but the change. If you've reached that place where your energy has shifted for real, drop one word in the comments, shifted. Because that's what happened. And the beauty of that shift, it's permanent.